this kind invitation to your webinar about the European Union. I was indeed initially questioning whether it would be the wisest contribution by a Turkish diplomat, simply because Turkey has not succeeded in achieving the objectives laid down by the 1963 Ankara Agreement, which created the association partnership between Turkey and the European Union. Given the dramatic transformations that are in the process of taking place in our current world, painfully shifting us from a unipolar global system into an imperfect multipolar system, the Europe finds itself at the crossroads of strategic decisions, both extending from economic integration into redefining the security concept, redefining the role of NATO in Europe's own regional and global security vision, as well as Europe's economic role in the new global world disorder. Because as I was underlining in a recent conference in Punjab University, I have defined the new current state of affairs in confronting our world as the new global world disorder. European Union, following the Second World War, benefited from the strategic nuclear umbrella of the United States within the framework of Euro-Atlantic as well as North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO frameworks. It was also coupled with the Marshall Aid Program, which the United States generously cultivated in reconstruction, rebuilding the new Europe in the post-Second World War period, to be followed by additional the third and the consecutive industrial revolutions, which carried Europe into a position of the second most prosperous and sustainably developed area of the world. European integration, moving from the Benelux, from the concept of the initial integration of the heart of Europe while rebuilding the new Europe in the after the war, actually provided a tremendous potential for European coal union as well as European atomic energy and nuclear energy developments. Essentially, the latter part of the 20th century was marked by tremendous progress on the part of Europe and 5 consecutive enlargements from Belgium, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands into a 27 sovereign state members, encompassing into a monetary union as well as into the footsteps of the Copenhagen criteria, the Lisbon Treaty, which added up a political union, creating a kind of a federal European territory in a almost homogeneous part. Europe only is realizing now, with a United States far more, I would say, demanding in terms of European contributions into the national defense expenditures, into the area of American strategic, I wouldn't say protection, but strategic umbrella in the New World Order following the disintegration of the Soviet Union. Soviet Union's disintegration has been a tremendous opportunity for the entire world in terms of rebuilding a new global economy with far less concerns of military and defense expenditures. Unfortunately, the past 3 decades, the 30 years that we have witnessed, created an environment which was not conducive to a post-Cold War new global system, which would integrate the regional powers and the global powers, economic potentials beyond political and strategic military and defense concerns. Currently, particularly following what has happened in Ukraine, following what is continuing to happen in Gaza, as well as other parts of the world like the continuing stalemate in Afghanistan, as well as the subcontinent and Southeast Asia's new challenge of redefining Indo-Pakistan relations is creating rapidly a new political environment where the comfort of the first 75 years following the Second World War is vanishing. Europe is finding a United States which is which is confronted by $37 trillion of public debt, which is very difficult to circulate and restructure under current circumstances, which makes the United States far more demanding, not only in the defense and security terms, but also in the economic fields. We are faced with an unconventional new American political leadership, which is blunt, which is far less dependent on the established rules-based international order, which was defined following the Second World War, and which is also not necessarily pursuing strategic frameworks and objectives which are well defined and well coordinated with the so-called European economic and security partners and allies. So countries like Turkey and Pakistan maybe has been not so well prepared to confront the new realities, which are defining quite a chaotic environment for the decades ahead, not necessarily years, but maybe for the decades ahead. So international global system is going to be faced with, on one side, stabilizing the territories in the sense of Europe finding a settlement, first a peaceful settlement to the Ukrainian conflict, and followingly redefining the terms and regulations of the international order in the Middle East, Near East, Southeast Asia, as well as Pacific. When I say Pacific, Southeast Asia and Pacific is facing a new and rapidly growing challenge of China, which is becoming potentially world's fastest growing economy, and technologically also testing the European economy's ability to sustain acceptable growth rates as well as competitiveness in terms of fast developing industrial technology revolutions. Given the 5G environment, given the artificial intelligence revolutions which are consecutively continuing to take place, China is rapidly becoming not only in terms of demography, but in terms of economy as well as technology, was leading and most rapidly evolving new giant. How the United States and Europe will redefine their partnership or their competition and maybe confrontation with China is going to define, not necessarily only in Asia, but across the global system, the future terms of human civilization. So Pakistan and Turkey are positioned in and most unexpectedly facing more opportunities than the challenges of the past 2 decades, maybe. Pakistan as the sole nuclear power within the Muslim world, the second largest Muslim population in the entire world, and its strategic geopolitical location between Central Asia and Southern Asia is going to be under not scrutiny, but under tremendous pressure of expanding its contribution to promoting sustainable development and serving as a bridgehead, not only between North and South, but also between East and West, because Afghanistan, as Pakistan's most important strategic neighbor, is going to have to redefine its role also in connecting the landlocked states of Central Asia into South Asia and the rest of the world, both economically as well as politically. This is only possible if Pakistan plays its strategic role in a constructive way, removes the hurdles and the strains in the interstate relations, help its neighbor Afghanistan stabilize and build the infrastructures, both the land transition in terms of transportation, highways, communication, and energy lines to connect Central Asia, which is world's untapped, one of the most richest untapped regions of the world, to connect that potential into the rest of the world. Where does the European Union stand in all this? And what Turkey and Pakistan can do in order to help redefine a more constructive and engaged European Union, not only in terms of providing capital funds and resources and technology to help reconstruct and expand develop the rest of Asia, or how European market benefits from Asia's riches in terms of rare earth materials as well as other natural resources and minerals. So this is not a time to plunder, but this is the time to promote strategic thinking and redefining interstate and intra-regional relations. Europe has the state experience, the legal advanced institutions, functioning democratic institutions, but Europe lacks the resources that Asia has. In that respect, in the coming days, both in terms of decoupling with the United States and redefining European security, Brussels will have to also tackle with tremendous challenges of their comparatively high costs of human labor, as well as the lack of energy and other resources. Whereas Asia will not sit and wait forever for the Europeans to come and to finally partner with them, because on the other side you have the east-west strategic corridors, the Belt and Road of the Chinese, let's say, Chinese economic expansion, which sometimes, occasionally, is perceived as a potential for partnership, but more and more perceived as a potential threat by the Western economies and the United States. So, in the fast-changing political environment and a rather chaotic economic environment, particularly worsened by United States' latest adventure in Iran, undermining the strategic energy supplies for the entire global system. Turkey and Pakistan can serve as neutralizing constructive partners in order to help rebuild the lines of communications and the regional perspectives, which can remove some of the pressures and help prevent the danger of global conflict and even a potential nuclear war, which would be destructive for the entire humanity. In that sense, Turkey as the frontline state between Europe and Asia would have only tremendous opportunities by facilitating Pakistani's greater engagement in the region, and Pakistan's also effective frontal roles that it can assume to lead the Muslim world from stagnation into constructive engagement and sustainable development. You have said I need to talk about 7 minutes. I may have exceeded a little, but I would look forward to the contributions of other speakers and look forward to your question.
Thank you very much, His Excellency, for your very comprehensive talk. You covered a lot of things about European Union, about the Pakistan,
Hello?
Turkey. So thank you very much for your time. So some internet problem in Pakistan due to heavy rain and thunderstorm in Pakistan and Islamabad and rest of the country. So most of people want to attend, but unfortunately cannot. So, sir, second speaker with us, Ali Mardan Rahoojo Saab. He is former deputy head of mission in Greece embassy, and he is a senior diplomat at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Pakistan. Sir, over to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Shafkat and Excellency Ambassador Hussain, for giving me opportunity to address your participants. Good afternoon from Islamabad. To begin with, let's acknowledge that global order, which Mr. Hussain said that actually is a global disorder, is changing before us. For nearly 3 decades after Cold War, the United States remained dominant political, military, economic power. Many believed that the liberal democratic model has prevailed permanently and globalization would bring greater integration and stability in the world. Today, that assumption is being challenged. China has emerged as a major economic and technological power. Russia has reasserted itself militarily. Middle powers such as India, Pakistan, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and others are pursuing more independent foreign policies. We are gradually moving from unipolar world towards a multipolar world. In discussing this challenging order, we cannot ignore Europe. Historically, Europe shaped much of the modern world. Its colonial legacy remained controversial and in many cases painful. Yet, alongside colonization, Europe has exported institutions and ideas that continue to influence societies across the globe. And these contributions includes parliamentary democracy, modern administration, legal system, scientific inquiry, infrastructure development, and higher education. After two devastating world wars, Europe made remarkable choices. Instead of continuing centuries of rivalry, it chose cooperation and integration. The European Union emerged from belief that countries that trade together prosper together. And the countries which make decisions together are less likely to go war. We should learn from this model in dealing with our neighbors as well. In that sense, the EU is one of the most successful political projects of modern history. It transformed a continent of conflict into a continent of cooperation. It created one of the largest economies and gave Europe considerable influence in trade, regulation, environmental standards, and diplomacy. However, the EU now faces new challenges. Can it remain united in the world's increasingly defined by competition between United States and China? This is perhaps the most important question for Europe's future these days. On the one hand, Europe depends heavily, as Mr. Hussain mentioned, on United States for security through NATO. On the other hand, China is an important trading partner and increasingly influential economic power in the emerging world. Europe does not want to choose between Washington and Beijing, but maintaining that balance is becoming more difficult. At the same time, there are fault lines within Europe as well. Differences over migration, energy, security, defense spending, economic policies, and relations with Russia and China sometimes pull member states in different directions. Nationalist and populist movements in several countries also challenge the idea of deeper European integration. Yet, despite these differences, I do not foresee the fragmentation of European Union. The economic and political benefits of remaining together are simply too great. Individual European countries would have far less influence acting alone than they have collectively. What I foresee is an EU that becomes more pragmatic and more flexible. Some members may move faster on defense, technology, and strategic industries, while others may proceed more cautiously. In other words, Europe may evolve at a different speeds, but it is likely to stay together. The role of NATO is also changing. For decades, Europe relied on American security umbrella. However, recent development, including more transactional approach adopted by Mr. Donald Trump, have encouraged Europeans to think more seriously about strategic autonomy and greater responsibility for their own defense. The war in Ukraine has further reinforced this thinking. Looking ahead, I believe the world is entering an era where no single country will dominate global affairs. Power will be distributed among several major countries. In such a world, European Union has a choice. It can remain primarily an economic bloc, or it can transform itself into a more coherent geopolitical actor capable of influencing global affairs independently. Its future influence will depend on its wealth. Let me repeat. In future, influence will depend not on its wealth alone, but on its ability to maintain unity, make timely decisions, and speak with one choice on major international issues. The emerging world order will be shaped not only by the rivalry between United States and China, but also by how Europe responds to that rivalry. In conclusion, I must emphasize that the European Union is likely to remain united and continue to act as a balancing force in an increasingly multipolar world. While it may face internal disagreement and external pressures, its collective interest, shared values, economic interdependence will keep it together. The EU may not dominate the emerging global order, but it will remain an important pillar of stability, moderation, and multilateral cooperation. In a world marked by growing rivalry and uncertainty, Europe's ability to build bridges rather than deepen divisions may well prove to be its greatest contribution to the international peace and prosperity. This is all. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. It's lovely to interact with you.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir, Ali Mardan, Rahoojo sir, for your talk. Now I would like to, sir, yeah, you want to add something, sir, please. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Given my brother Ali Mardan Rahoojo, actually nearly 30 years ago, we have met in Ankara when he was a more junior counselor in charge of political and economic relations with Turkey. This reminded me of our old times, and to the extent that in Turkey we gave a bride to our dear brother Ali Mardan. So it is not only a strategic partnership and religious and cultural affinity we have, but Yasemin, a Turkish citizen, have enriched the Pakistani Foreign Office family, and we are very proud of having such diplomats. And it's a tremendous opportunity to have Ali now with all his experience over the decades in public service. You brought us together on the same front. Now, taking from where Ambassador Ali Mardan has left, I want to also add a few more points, particularly in addition to European Union own challenges. I think Turkey and Pakistan will have the potential and possibility of changing the facts on ground while a new world is in the process of being constructed. As Ali Mardan has said, we're faced maybe with more challenges than opportunities under current circumstances, because unfortunately, the mankind has not done its homework in the best standards following the ending of the Cold War. We had 30 strategically important years to build a new and more peaceful environment, both in terms of redefining East-West and North-South relations. Turkey and Pakistan, actually immediately following the ending of the Cold War and disintegration of the Soviet Union, moved to form an economic cooperation organization, which was started in the 60s as the Regional Cooperation for Development between Turkey, the Iran of the Shah's times, and Pakistan. But RCD, the Regional Cooperation for Development, unfortunately has been curtailed by the events of the time and by the dramatic transformation following the return of Khomeini's into Iran. Iranian revolution affected practically every single country and nation in the course of the last almost 50 years, where Turkey and Pakistan did their best to be constructive actors and to consolidate Economic Cooperation Organization initially drew attention of the world because Ankara, Tehran, and Islamabad added Afghanistan as a newly liberated Muslim state and another founding member of the United Nations system, and all these Central Asian republics, which have been under the yoke of communism for almost a century. So we had five Turkic-speaking Central Asian republics, and Tajikistan and Afghanistan as founding members, Turkey, Iran, and Pakistan. So a 10-member new regional platform, which would have both potentials to create and develop in terms of energy connectivity, transportation of east-west and north-south corridors, as well as sustainable economic development. So initially, this drew attention of the world, but unfortunately, no progress of consolidation of independence of the Central Asian republics, Europe's hesitation to finance and provide technology and other economic support for interconnecting Eurasia, unfortunately slowed down the process. As again, Ambassador Ali Mardan was saying, the way developments go, I think, particularly given the situation of both the Persian Gulf, the Strait of Hormuz, and the stalemated situation in U.S.-Iran operations, the lack of progress in obtaining an agreement to ceasefire, as well as to tackle other issues like the sanctions and the frozen funds of Iran, etc., puts us at a point where important consequences will emerge following the ending of the American intervention and war in Iran. Everybody in the East and West, including Europe, realizes that this recent war has been has been a war of choice on the part of the United States, and probably the United States will be paying the price because currently it seems, even if you look at the most conservative American observers, it seems that the United States has lost a lot of credibility and influence in the global environment, including even the new strains emerging in the American-European transatlantic and Euro-Atlantic relations. So we need to see not the half part of the glass, but we need to see the full part of the glass and try to fill it up with additional constructive opportunities. That's why I say, while Europe redefines its role, I also am a believer of multilateralism. I think the United Nations system, although it needs serious modernization and restructuring and reform, we don't have any better instrument to address multilateral issues and differences and conflicts than the United Nations system. So we will have to maintain and improve it. And Europe will have to redefine its defensive role as well as its new economic role in the new international global system. So there, Turkey and Pakistan, given what Pakistan has been doing in the US-Iranian conflict as a strategic facilitator and mediator, I think the world attention is focused on Islamabad's future prospects. Islamabad will also has to make its strategic moves in the field of redefining the relations with India and providing the global system assurances that the world and
sorry for disturbing you,
humanity
His Excellency.
will not face nuclear war danger. So I think we have more opportunities than challenges as Turkey and Pakistan.
Thank you very much, His Excellency. This first session will end within 1 minute, so that's why I interrupt you. We will, everyone, please join Sam link.